Ah, yes, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome indeed to the Austerity Cup 2014 Cup Final Preview, sponsored by Beers and Fags.
Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one. Schaefer pleasure doesn't fade even when your thirst is done.
And so, with a Schaefer in hand, let us look forward, backwards and perhaps even sideways, to this year's Austerity Cup Final. The year's end-of-season showpiece will be contested by two of the more storied franchises in Carlton lore, bearing witness to the adage that experience counts and strategy is king, and that the cup is more difficult to win than some old hacks may have you believe. This year will be the year that one of Rufus Roofers, or the Academy of Sheep, will join the exclusive club of teams that have won the greatest cup competition on more than one occasion. Many pundits have sagely agreed that to win this famous old pot once is an outstanding achievement, but twice, well, that's the hallmark of excellence. Cast your minds back then, if you will, to January, when the snow fell silently upon the driveways of merry England, when the reverie of Xmas past was still found clinging to the frontal lobes of the memory, when the first round draw was made. And what a draw it was! The first tie pulled out of the hat was a heavyweight contest between If You Build It and Free Range. The draw was underway and the fans of all 45 clubs tingled in anticipation. If You Build It broke the oppressive chicken yoke in that match, but it was the final tie from the official Carlton draw receptacle, purchased for 5 English groats from Chad Valley, that provided the drama, as the reigning league champions, Championi holders, twice winners of the Cup and super heavyweight champions of the world, the Harrys, were unceremoniously deposited from the competition by rookie outfit Brodie's Brits. Another two-time winner, the We of Football, forgot to pack their spandex and were also eliminated in round 1. In amongst the melee, Rufus' campaign got underway and they managed to negotiate a tricky tie against the then high-flying Ginger Nuts, whilst the Sheep secured a bye in the draw made inside Woods Hardwick Planning HQ. In the second round, we witnessed a pair of derbies. Beaver was glorious in the Spencer Road affair, so much so that Schofield has since turfed him from his abode, and Jonesy won the Guiseley Grammar Derby after allegations of unsporting behaviour following his open attempt at tricking both his opponents, Ray Allen and Lord Charles, into believing that the tie was to be played the week before. Schoolboy! Stakes were never higher, and winning was everything. The Sheep entered the austerity fold, beating the underwhelming Topunt, whilst Rufus continued their tradition of wailing on girls, dispatching the jammy Dodgers with a swift 1-2 punch. Former two-time winners If You Build It fell at the second hurdle after getting in a tangle with the Hot Pants. This is your Austerity Cup Final Preview, sponsored by Beers and Fags.
Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. Winston gives you real flavorful, rich tobacco flavor. Winston's easy drawing too. The filter lets the flavor through. Winston tastes good like a cigarette should.
With only 16 teams left, the drama continued unabated for both the finalists, as in round 3 the Roofers pulled out title-chasing Scousers from the draw receptacle, whilst the Sheep took on their dawdling nemesis Lottery in a couple of heavyweight ties that somehow Sky Sports chose to overlook. Punch for punch, pound for pound, this was the moment of truth for both eventual finalists, as the Roofers were taken to a sensational replay by Jonesy's last-gasp efforts that may ultimately cost the Scousers the chance of the Carlton Palmer Memorial Fantasy Football Super League 13 title. Whilst the Sheep showed that they were not just bleating about, showing his fellow left-hander a thing or two about how to challenge on all fronts. Round 3 also saw the demise of the cup holder Angry Beavers at the hands of Season 2 Cup winners and a girl, Isidore's revival, and thus the anti-charity giant was thwarted in his attempt to become the first team ever to retain the cup, thwarted by a girl. The Yanners, Yetis, Yellowbellies, Hot Pants and the Moose also fell at the round of 16. And so, in the blink of an eye, 8 teams were left in the competition. Only 2 wins stood between the remaining clubs and a place in the star-studded final. A rather bemused Amy Lawrence, no relation to Jennifer, presided over the draw held in the dining room of the Flying Horse Clopple. All the chatter was of who would get a good draw, who would be difficult to beat. But straight out of the receptacle, sponsored by the King's Golden Balls, came the draw that Carlton aficionados feared. It was to be a Carlton Legends quarter-final, as Roofers faced Isidore in a Wilson family derby. Both teams went for it, and it proved to be the tie of the round. In any other game, Isidore would have been victorious, but Cup specialist and descendant of Genghis Khan Jamo had just enough left in the tank to beat off Mrs. LP's feisty challenge. Groves came up short against the ever-impressive hit squad. Brodie continued their impressive campaign by getting the better of Barry's Mankinis, whilst the Sheep shifted through their woolly gears and comfortably saw off an improving Partridge United. This is the Austerity Cup final preview, sponsored by Beers and Fags.
When you say but, you tell the world you know what makes it all the way. When you say but, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. There is no other one, there's only something less, because the king of beers is leading all the rest. When you say Budweiser,
you've said it all.
Now, semi-final day is without doubt one of the greatest days in the football calendar. Always has been, always will be. For those still involved, it is a day when you can almost taste the sweet flavour of success. To the winner comes a day in the glowing Carlton sun. For the loser, there is just the desolate abyss, and the knowledge that you and 41 others were merely bit-part players. The draw receptacle was replaced on this great occasion in favour of a napkin in the National Brewery Centre in Burton-on-Trent, and the selections were performed by the cup holder, Angry Beaver Reid, and title challenging turkey boss, Sadie. The two gentlemen paired Brodie against her planning counterpart Russell, whilst Jamo faced Angry Aaron, who was becoming increasingly frustrated that his double challenge was being undermined by FBI and CIA investigations. And the rest, as they say, is history, as the fuddy-duddy stuck in the mud, dyed in the wool, fusty, beardy Carlton purists finally got their way. Despite gallant attempts by both Brodie and the hit squad, the old guard simply muscled them out the way to set up a simply glorious 2014 Austerity Cup final between Roofers and the Academy of Sheep.
There is just one Schlitz, yeah, nothing else comes near. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. If you like it light with a big taste too, there's only one brew that will do. When you're out of Schlitz, you're out of beer. Real gusto in the great light beer Schlitz.
Now, regular listeners to the Austerity Cup podcasts, of which I may be the only one, will recall that we had some technical difficulties in our last instalment when trying to contact Coach Jamo. We have him back on the line now. Coach Jamo, the bookies consider you the underdogs for this year's final, so how do you intend to get one over on the Sheep?
Yeah, growing up in semi-rural New Zealand, I've had plenty of practice getting one over on the Sheep, hey? The trick is Velcro gloves.
Well, good luck with that. There are rumours, of course, that Chelsea have lined you up to replace the legendary Jose Mourinho. Have they contacted you directly?
Contacted me? I don't think I could handle the pressure. In fact, Jose is here with me. I'll just ask him what he thinks. Hey Jose, they're asking if Raymond has lined up a replacement for you. I said I couldn't handle the pressure, eh?
Pressure is millions of people in the world. Parents, no money to buy food for their children. That's pressure, not in football.
Wise words indeed, Mr. Mourinho. Now, Jamo, the league form hasn't been great this year. A final word on your cup run?
League form has been shit all year, and in fact it has been for a few seasons, but I've always been strong in the cup. It's all about the trophies, Jeff.
It's all about the trophies. Never a truer word said there. I don't know if those true words could actually be understood, because that really is quite a thick accent there. Thank you, Jamo. Now, it would be remiss of us not to offer Coach Russell the right to reply, but the Academy of Sheep head coach has been reluctant to meet with the media thus far, but has offered this snippet via a press release.
The focus is very much on the final this week, and we won't allow the unprecedented prospect of the double to distract us from the goal of ensuring the Austerity Cup heads to the sheep pen for the second time, and that the Academy join the elite group of teams to have won the famous trophy twice. We know we're going into the final as underdogs, playing a team of Rufus pedigree, and with Coach Gmo clearly having reserved transfers. He's been out of contention for the league since early in the campaign, but that suits us. The players have been shown footage of the previous Austerity Cup final victory against the now not so mighty Harries when the sheep were once again underdogs. This will provide all the inspiration the team needs.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody thought these two coaches weren't taking this final seriously, it really is time to think again.
Fruit juicy. Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
You taste 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian punch. 7 kinds of fruit in Hawaiian punch. Hawaiian punch is made with 7 kinds of fruit for a one-of-a-kind fruit taste.
Hawaiian Punch Fruit Punch with 10% real fruit juice for a real fruit juicy taste.
Hawaiian punch is made with 7 kinds of fruit
For a one-of-a-kind fruit taste.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to the 2014 Austerity Cup Final Preview, sponsored by Beers and Fags. Sponsored by beer, mostly, as it turns out. Let's have a quick look now at the history of our two great finalists, the Cup history of Rufus and the Academy of Sheep. The Rufus, 10 campaigns, winners in 2005 as Jimbledon, and runners-up as recently as 2012. The Academy of Sheep, half that amount of campaigns, just 5 campaigns, but winners, of course, in 2010 as Sheephead FC. The bookies, well, Vasco da Gama has the Academy of Sheep slightly ahead as favourites. They've scored more average points per round, they've had an easier route, and they've played less games to reach the final than their plucky underdog opponent from the Easter Islands. The only question mark is whether the Academy will have one eye on their title challenge, and perhaps they'll be holding back some transfers for the final game of the season between Hull and Arsenal. Coach Jamo, of course, has played 2 extra matches to get to the final and will likely have expended more transfers to keep his cup run alive, especially in that famous cup replay, only the 4th in Carlton history, against the Scousers. 13 Premier League fixtures make up this year's final, so there'll be plenty of transfer opportunities with games on Tuesday and Wednesday before the big showdown. Both teams will go public on Sunday at 3 p.m. to enable all fans from all corners of the Carlton sphere to enjoy Austerity 2014. The odds then: Academy of Sheep 8 to 15, Rufus 11 to 8, and the draw 100 to 1.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp and listen, mister. How are you fixed for blades?
Do you have plenty?
How are you fixed for blades?
You'd better check.
Please make sure you have enough, 'cause a worn-out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fixed for blades?
You'd better look.
Gillette blue blades we mean.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, there is of course nothing sharper than an Austerity Cup final preview. A few little odd bits just to tie up here, just some loose ends. Now, the Roofers will be playing this year's final in their famous all-black kit and have secured an endorsement with Havaianas leisure footwear for the big day, which they'll be wearing with their tailored Fat Willy shorts and a Queen of the Stone Age faded tees when they arrive at the ground. The Academy of Sheep will face the Roofers in claret shirts with blue arms, white shorts and socks. A 1960s style haircut is mandatory, as is the pre-match meal of cockles and winkles and IDIO, followed by jelly eels and pie, mash and liquor. Their cup final suits will be 100% lamb's wool, decorated with the mother-of-pearl buttons for that authentic Lambeth Walk look. And for those purveyors of the perverse, the Roofers were drawn at home in all this year's ties, whilst the Academy were drawn away every time.
Another public service announcement from Brill Cream. Men, beware. Use 1 dab of Brill Cream. Just a little dab makes your hair look excitingly clean.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is very much that. Thank you so much for joining me throughout the season. I hope you'll join us again next season. All that remains for me to tell you is that the final will be played using scores from matches starting Tuesday the 6th of May and finishes on Monday the 12th of May. Good luck, JMO.
I'd like to buy the world a home and furnish it with